Hi, welcome to SB4 Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. It is a Monday afternoon after the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. So we're doing our usual opening line show with Joe Duffy. Right now we're looking ahead to the two conference championship games. Joe Duffy, thanks so much for being back with us.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, before we get into it, give a quick plug for your site and everything. 28-20 against the spread in our videos this year. How have you been doing this year at your site?
And another 3-1-1 weekend in the NFL for us. We swept Wise Guy Plays in all sports yesterday, so everything's going great. Joe Duffy's picks at offshoreinsiders.com.
That sounds great. Well, let's discuss the two games, the opening lines. The first one, New England and Denver, and this line has moved significantly. Right now, it's Denver -4.5, but it opened at -6, and you can just see the money line right now at Pinnacle. The money line is New England +188, Denver -210. It opened at +222, -250. So obviously, some big money came in on New England there. Now it's -4.5. Total's 54.5, and it hasn't moved much, but it is getting juiced a little bit to the over. You had a great read on the Denver under last week. You gave us a winner with that one. What's your take on this game?
Yeah, no, and in fact, there were some places before the AFC game was over yesterday had Denver as high as 7. And I did some instant analysis. I sent out an article, was picked up by quite a few sites, and I was all over it. I said that this line was going to go down, that both the public and the sharp players were going to see that Peyton Manning, a guy who's been so-so in the postseason, he's now one game under 500. And even yesterday, he didn't necessarily do anything to put San Diego back in the game, but he didn't actually put them away in the fourth quarter. It wasn't his fault that his teammates didn't recover an onside kick. But Tom Brady, the greatest postseason quarterback perhaps in history, and no surprise that both the public and the sharps bet that line down. That wasn't surprising at all. I also think because Seattle's been so darn good at home, if anything, the public will be betting Seattle.
All right, we'll get to that in a second. But, yeah, I mean, you got to figure that this New England-Denver game could easily go down to the wire. Do you think that it might go even lower? Currently, it's at 4.5 market-wide.
It could, but remember that books have to be very careful about having a wide open middle, especially those that did have it at 7. There were a few that had it at 7, and they're going to be terrified to get middled, so they can't really drop it too much lower.
And what's your, you have a great read on Denver totals. You nailed the under last game. What's your sense on this one? You think that the Pats will employ some sort of, ball control game plan? They'll keep it under again, or you think this one will head over as the Pats last game did?
No, there's no question that LeGarrette Blount has been an incredible running back. He's on a phenomenal 3-4 game streak where they do have the ability to keep the ball away from him. But when you got Tom Brady, there's no need to get too fancy. San Diego, all 3 games they played them this year, they were able to execute that keep away style. But no, I don't see New England doing that. I think both of these teams are going to win and lose with their passing game, with their future Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I would say that the sharps and the public will probably bet this game over.
Okay, and then the second game, San Francisco at Seattle. Not much movement at all on the side. Few bounces, but not much. Basically, Seattle's a -3.5 point home favorite, and the money line they're -186 currently at Pinnacle. San Francisco +167 on the other side. The total did open at 40 and bounced down to 39.5 quickly. You think we're going to see any significant movement on these lines?
Yeah, and this was another one. I think the Greek and a couple other casinos had it at 40.5 and 41, but I don't expect it to drop all that much. But then again, sharps will tell you this is a battle of two teams that really are poster childs for our golden rule when I say that totals aren't just about offensive and defensive competence, because both of these teams are very good offensively, but it's more about pace. But these are two throwback teams. They both have great smash-mouth running backs. They both have quarterbacks who can move the chain with their legs. So this is a game that really is about two teams that play kind of an old-fashioned pace where they like to have long, sustained drives. But how much lower can they drop this without money coming back on the over? I don't think it can drop that much more.
All right, well, what do you think about the spread? You think it'll possibly move down to 3? You think I have a feeling that it's going to close right at 3.5, that there might be some big money, but that it'll be split and that we won't see much movement in terms of the market-wide line?
Yeah, no, obviously once you get to the conference championship games, you're going to have a battle for the most part of two teams that the public loves to bet on. You're not going to have a team that the public likes to bet against, but because Seattle has been so dominant at home, including in the playoffs, they look great against New Orleans. I think, if anything, it probably will close at 3.5.
All right, well, thanks so much for your initial thoughts on these two games. Joe Duffy from offshoreinsiders.com, and we will preview both these games much more in-depth with you later on this week. Thanks, Joe.